In the late 1800s, a reform movement called progressivism developed. This movement focused on a variety of anti-monopoly, city beautification, civil service, government, and social reforms. Progressives advocated prohibition, limited immigration, limits on child labor, improving unsafe work conditions, and more. Progressives called for reform because of the economic and social problems that rapid industrialization had introduced to America. Immigrants and American workers encountered an industrial system that oppressed them. Industries required long work hours, gave poor wages, and had dangerous work conditions. Trade unions grew, but it was difficult for unions to organize across ethnic groups. Immigrants were at the brunt of industrialization and found that American life was harsh in cities, yet still had better conditions than their homeland. Americans had been unwilling to support sufficient taxes to fund government institutions at any level. This was until the Depression of 1893 to 1896. Americans became upset with corporate tycoons, big business, and economic policies, questioning if the growth of industry was truly benefiting the country. Progressives argued that regulations and social programs represented expressions of altruism rather than unwarranted interference in the private affairs of industrialists and citizens. Progressives sought to protect social welfare, promote fairness, control big business, uphold moral values, and promote greater efficiency in government and business. Although these reformers were able to gain a good deal of support, there was conflict among the Republicans and Democrats with the Progressive Party. After many political battles, reforms took place. The counter-argument for these was that the Constitution did not give the federal government jurisdiction over social issues. Health reforms were necessary as up to 20% of populations were dying of illnesses and epidemics. Enhanced health safety regulations were passed and new health advances developed. There were many obstacles that stood in the way of reforms being passed. Many of these were limited by the Supreme Court. The Progressive Era was a time of continued oppression for vulnerable populations such as women, African Americans, Asian immigrants, and those who spoke Spanish. Although there were many failed policies, the Progressive Era resulted in reforms and regulations that were needed in America. Social workers emerged and have continued to promote human welfare. The Progressive Era taught us that social problems require substantial direction and resources if they are able to be successfully addressed.
Created using Powtoon.